You might not think this video is very important to you, but let me just say before you click off, your relationship to the client and how good of an editor you are with the client. I'm not saying skill wise, I'm talking about like how much the client love working with you. It literally directly correlates with your income. Like I just give you an example. A client has two editors, you and somebody else. And you are just communicating with the client in a very standard way, like what every editor does. And the other guy is using these tips to communicate and have a relationship with the client. I'm telling you, if there goes to a point where the client only needs to have one editor, he's going to drop you. So you have to use these methods that I'm going to tell you right now and apply them as soon as possible. Now I'm working with a lot of clients right now, and a few of my clients have literally verbalized without me asking them to, saying that I am the best editor they've ever worked with. Now this wasn't always the case. It's about like 1.5 months ago, I was like every single other editor. I was like having a very normal relationship with their client. What started to change is that I started hiring people. I started hiring video editors of my own. I started hiring thumbnail designers. I started hiring like banner artists and stuff like that. And I realized that they do a lot of stuff that I get very annoyed with, and I realized I'm doing the exact same thing with my clients. So after I recognized that, I start applying the things they didn't do to my clients, and the results has been very amazing. Like it's not like instant gratification. It goes like after like a couple of weeks or like a few weeks of like working with a client, the client will just say, "Oh, it's been such a pleasure working with you, Ben." This literally out of nowhere. Obviously, first and foremost, this is not a tip because I already expect this from you. Your edits are decent and good enough. If your edits are shit, none of this will work, because like the most important thing is the quality of your work. So let's get to the video. I'm going to just give you three main tips that will work if you follow this. So first and foremost is communication. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, How to Influence and Influence People. It's a very old book, but it's basically the Bible of communication. The way you are communicating to your client now, you might think is really good, but I assure you, I would say 90% of editors communicate with the client in the same way. The client send the asset, you start on the project, finish the project, you tell the client, hey, here's the project, then you ask for payment. I used to be like this, like a very standard relationship with my client. But as soon as I communicate really well, I realized that my clients really enjoy working with me. How do you communicate really well with your client? First and most important thing is to basically update them with your workflow. So many editors do not do this. I want you to start using this thing ASAP, like right now. So that your client send you your asset, when you're like 25% or 50% down your project, tell the client that, say, hey, I'm halfway down the project. And then when you're done, you say, oh, I finished. You have to like have constant communication with your client. Have you ever received this message before? A client send you an asset and you're like working on another project or something like that, or maybe you're busy. Then a day later, the client will send you a message, hey, how's the project going? I'm pretty sure you have seen this message before. I've had that message so many times, especially with first-time clients. Like every first-time client I work with will just say, hey, how's the project going after 24 hours after they send me the project link. Right now, my existing client, they never ask me how's my progress, because I always update them my progress. They know that I'm very reliable, so they don't need to ask. You want to form a very reliable friendship with your client. You want to be this kind of person and editor that your client can just say, oh, this guy is extremely reliable. Have you ever heard this before? You go to the workplace, then there's always a guy, the kind of guy that everybody goes to because he's reliable. Like, be that kind of person. And number two is don't treat your clients as your friend. This is not a universal law. Some of you have a really, really good relationship with your client. You might be like talking like you're actual friends. But most of the time, you do not want to treat your client as a friend. I like hire people and they start talking to me as if like I'm their friend. I'm not saying like, oh, don't be my friend or stuff like that, but the way they text me and the way they communicate with me is like so informal. I'm not saying be formal. Like I really hate texting my client in a formal way. It just feels like very professional, and I really don't like that. But also don't be the other end of the spectrum where you're like so informal to your client. I'm talking about like I text them something and they will just reply like question mark, or like just one question mark. I don't know why that really fucking triggers me. If you put like question mark to me or like some other like stupid thing like that, I will probably not have a very good impression of you after that. So this does not apply to every single client. It's not a blanket law or something, but you do not want to treat your client as your friend. Be friendly with them. Sometimes like break the ice and like say something or stuff like that, but always remember that you are in a working relationship with your client. Always have that like thin barrier between you two. Don't like ask about personal stuff. You can talk with them very informally, like, hey, how are you, stuff like that. but don't cross that line. So number 2 is that's a very simple tip. So number 3 is kind of a cheat code. So number 3 is over delivering. So I'm going to give you one tip right now that I learned from other editors, and I'm also going to give you my own tip. I'm going to break this over delivering section into two things you can do to over deliver to your clients. So when a client asks you, when's the turnaround time? You always want to overestimate it. So example, you can do a short form video in 1 day. You know, you're very confident you can do that. Say 3 days. I have this fear last time. I still have this fear now. Every time a client say, hey, when's the turnaround time? I always say very short period of time, because I'm scared if I say a too long period, the client might get put off with that. If you say like a week or something, if they work with an editor who only does it like 2 or 3 days, they might get a bit like, why this guy say a week, my other editors do it in like 2-3 days. So if they ask you about that, they say, oh, why does it take so long? Say, I pride myself in my effort and the quality of my videos, my edits, so that's why it's taking a bit longer. But here's the trick: if you can do it in 1 day and you say 3 days, deliver it in 1 day. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive with my first point, where you kind of like update a person constantly. So you kind of want to say like, oh, I'm working on the project right now or something, but you don't want to like update them the 50% or something like that, unless it's a very long stretch of time. If you can do it in 1 day, you don't need to like actually update, I'm starting project, I'm 50% of project. You just like do the project and just like give it to them or something like that. So just an example, you can do it in 1 day, you say 3 days, then you deliver it in 1 day. And the reason this really elevates your status to the client eyes is that you are basically over delivering in the time frame. And obviously I'm just going to assume that the quality of this video is really good. Like if you over deliver and like in 1 day and the quality is shit, like the client will probably think of you as like the kind of guy who prioritizes quantity over quality, and he's probably going to drop you. So again, the quality has to be good. So if you haven't do that, please do that. It's like a really fucking nifty trick. And the second trick that I learned from myself is very controversial. I just made a Twitter post about it. Basically, I edit a video, and I would say a lot of editors, you probably have this mindset that you want it to be done quick, and you probably have the mindset of also like, oh, I want it to be good, but I also want it to be quick. So you do it quickly, as fast as you can, while maintaining quality. I'm assuming you're this kind of editor, and this good editor, but honestly, you can take it up. My English is very, I don't know why I can't speak right now, it's 1 a.m. But what I'm saying is this: I have this mindset, I'm literally getting paid to improve. I don't have the mindset of, oh, I'm literally getting paid to make this edit. No, that's like most people mindset. You kind of want to trick yourself. Like, I'm relatively new to editing. I'm like 3 months plus, and a person pays me $100 to edit a video. So I had this thinking, I'm getting paid $100 to learn and improve. So with that mindset, I go into my editing program, Premiere Pro, After Effects, and I spend as much time as I can. I've done so many 12-hour edits. Like, I posted this tweet recently saying like, I worked about like 11 hours for this edit, and I got blasted in the comments saying, oh, you should really optimize your turnaround time, you should optimize your workflow. This is what most people think, and honestly, this is such a bad thinking, especially if you're starting out. If you're like a really good editor, you make really good edits, yes, optimization matters. I like to tell this story to like kind of like prove my point. When I was starting out boxing, I don't do boxing, I'm like really shit at it, but I went to this boxing class for my first time, and we were practicing, the jab, the most basic punch. And I was doing the jab like really fucking quickly. I was like prioritizing speed, because the jab is supposed to be quick and like kind of like a blur to your opponent's face. It's supposed to be like very fucking quick. I think Ryan Garcia said your jab has to be a whip or something like that. I was in the boxing class, I was like jabbing, trying to be as fast as possible. And my coach was like, Ben, you're doing everything wrong. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, isn't the jab supposed to be really fucking quick? It's like your quickest punch. It's like, yes, you're correct. But the thing is, you're prioritizing your speed and you're neglecting your technique and thus your power. So if I'm jabbing so fast, all I learned is like jabbing so fast, I never learned the fundamentals of how to actually jab. And I don't like twist and put my body behind it. I don't do the correct footwork and stuff like that. So it's just literally like kind of an arm punch, and there's literally no power behind it. The opponent will not respect my jab, he just like literally walk through my jab because I never learned the fundamentals. And he said to me, Ben, the speed will come. So this can be applied to editing. When you edit, you don't want to have the mindset of thinking like, how can I optimize this edit and get it as fast as possible, earn as much money as possible. That's not a good way to think about doing your edits to improve. The best way you can improve in your work and also please your client, that sounds so wrong. So you want to spend as much time as possible in the edit with having the mindset of I'm getting paid to learn. If you're still not like really good at your edits, you're still not like very happy with your edits, I want you for your next project, just forget about the time frame. Like, oh, I'm going to do this video in like 2 hours, 3 hours. Literally forget about it. Focus on the fundamentals. Focus on how can you improve your edit. Maybe you can add this small thing here. Maybe you can make your animation smoother or something. Literally just focus on that and say, I'm getting paid for this. You're literally getting paid to improve. I'm telling you guys, my workflow is terrible. It's like so terrible, but I realized something. Everybody on Twitter is literally telling me my edits have improved so much. It's literally all down to this. I spend so much time After Effects. If you see my edits, there's like kind of like a 2-second animation like that, and you might think I did it in like 10 minutes or something. No, I literally spent 30 minutes or 40 minutes, sometimes even an hour on little tiny animation. I know you're thinking about the 80-20 rule or something like that, where like the tiny things doesn't matter, you focus on the bigger picture. That has its place. But for now, when you're in the process of learning, you're process improving, I really believe, in my opinion, that you should really spend as much time as possible just focusing on improving your edits. Even the smallest 1-second animation, just literally improve it, and that will literally make you into a better editor over time. Focus on your editing skills. Your workflow will just optimize by itself. You don't need to like consciously think about it. You will get faster. Like the animations I made, that literally, like I have this animation where you do have this like counter effect where like it counts from 0 to like whatever number you want or something like that. I remember the first time I did it, it literally took me 1 hour. I'm not kidding you. It literally took me 1 hour. I was following a tutorial because I did not know like where the effect bar was. I didn't know how to like link stuff in After Effects or something. Now I can do it in like literally like 2 minutes or something like that. I wasn't consciously thinking, oh, how can I optimize like how to do this faster? No, it's because I've done it so slowly. I've literally do every single detail. I made all the mistakes, so I naturally became faster. Now once you reach a certain point where your edits are actually really fucking good, then you can like literally like focus on like the tiny details of how can you optimize your edit. And that part, my friend, is where it literally all matters on optimizing workflow. Where you already get to like a certain level, to increase your business and scale your business, you need to optimize your edits, because your edits are already so fucking good. It does not matter if you do it in like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, that is already really good. Do it at your own pace. Focus on its fundamentals. The speed will come. So my friends, this is how you become the best editor there is to your clients. The bar for being a good editor is really, and I know this because I've hired editors, and my clients later told me like, Ben, you're like so much better than all the editors I've hired. The bar is really low, guys. Don't think it's really high. Like most editors, they're just doing this just for like a part-time thing, or like if they're doing full-time, they just don't have the drive to like get to like the best of the best. I'm not saying you need to be the best of the best. You don't need to be number one, but at least be the top 1% editors, guys. It honestly isn't that hard. I know I'm not there yet. I know I'm just saying that and I might be talking on my ass, but in just every aspect of life, most people are just so fucking lazy. Like 99% of people just don't do the extra mile. And if you just do the extra mile of work, you will get so much ahead of people if you do it consistently. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry of not being consistent in my videos recently. I've been so busy in my work. I have like so many just things going on, but it's dying down now. I literally finished all my work, so hopefully I can be more consistent with the videos. I just really enjoy making videos and helping people out. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you take these 3 advice that I've given you and apply them to your real life thing, and just be the best editor there is, and to make your clients as satisfied with you as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.